I like that intro, man. I know we talk about it a lot, but I just really love it.
Well, I think we get a 10 episode leeway. So after 10 episodes, and we're still talking,
don't say another word about it.
Maybe we should just get over ourselves and move on and actually get into the show.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. My sleeves on this thing where it was sitting on the hanger this morning. I've got.
You got the little shoulder pooches.
I got the nipples, is what. Hey, my daughter calls it. You got shoulder nipples.
Shoulder nipples.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide whether we should unpack this or whether we should just move on. I was trying to mash it up when you said shoulder nipples, and I was thinking calling them shipples.
Yeah, I think we should move on.
Moving on. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Okay, so today we're talking about your gut. Jason.
Whoa!
Oh, is that not it? I thought that's what we were talking about.
This is not that kind of show, man. This is an intervention. This is like a diet intervention. Okay. Well, I'm drinking water right now. Does that help? Does that help my gut?
That is a good start. Yes, good. I have my floor right here. I have my all my vitamins that I take every day that I did not take yet. But they are
scattered across the floor.
No, I'll show you. No. Okay, I'm about to show you this. This is not all mine. This is some of mine and then some of the rest of the families. But I have it in here. So here's all of our.
Well, you take what you got to take.
Yeah. But the reason I say gut is because I take a probiotic. And
gut bugs, baby.
Gotta get them, man.
Gotta get those gut bugs rolling.
This has got 30 billion, I believe. 30 billion.
30 billion.
I used to take 7 billion, and then I was talking to the guy at 10 billion. Yeah, 10 billion. And I was talking to the guy at the vitamin shop. I was like, I hear like if you as soon as you go up higher, it gets like you get too much. He goes, you have billions and trillions of them in your gut already. So
according to your health guy, there is no law of diminishing returns when it comes to billions of gut bugs.
Well, I said. If I go up, I'm taking 10 billion. I've been taking that for, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, the thing is majority of those aren't going to actually make it to where they need to make it to. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So can you take it? A lot of them are going to die off pretty quick. So you're only getting like a portion of those, which I didn't know. But he was like, it's not going to hurt anything. If you take more, he said.
So if you take 1 trillion gut bugs,
I think that's for people who like legit need it. Like their gut is just a wreck. I think.
So you can't overdose on gut bugs.
No, I'm not going to go on. I'm not saying that. I don't know.
Where's the ticker? We need a ticker that says we are not licensed medical professionals.
Yes, do not take. But
what I do take idiots who are talking about gut right now.
I do like, and we could have a whole conversation about this at one time. I don't know what this would have to do with anything about Hustle Machine, but I do enjoy talking about the different things you can take to get your body in maximum health and because I think the bottom. We'll get to the topic, I promise. But I think that our society mostly doesn't get the nutrients that we need, which causes a lot more sickness and things that unhealthy. Our society is just unhealthy. Let's just face it. We just are. And I think a lot of times our food isn't giving us everything we need because it's so overly processed, and our society just eats so much junk food that taking the right amount of supplements to give your body what it needs to heal itself is a good thing.
Well, I guess there's a tie in there a little bit, because the whole reason we started the Hustle Machine brand is because we see a really unhealthy work landscape here in the U.S., right? So we see a really unhealthy mentality surrounding work and what it really means. like what some people think it means to hustle, which is just like, working until you're crippled by it, right?
Yeah.
Until you just fall under the weight of working so hard that you think that's what it takes. When when it's okay to ask for help, when it's okay to have a balance between how you're working and spending time with your family. And it's always a thing that's constantly moving. So I think that's totally valid. So
Yeah. Well, anyways, so we'll get into, we're not going to talk about Jason's gut. We're going to actually be talking about your gut instinct. Right. Right. So
we're talking about my gut, but we're not talking about my gut.
We're talking about, yeah, right. We're talking about your gut feeling about people, about products, about ideas. Do we have experience with clients that we've dealt with where we just had like a really good feeling or a really bad feeling?
Yeah.
And do we listen to them? Are they always right? So we're going to kind of dive into intuition.
I mean, that's basically a hard thing. Are they right? Are they wrong? I've got billions and trillions of gut bugs telling me different things. Which one do I listen to?
Who do you listen
Which
to?
one of the billions?
Was it the angel and the devil the angel and the devil on your shoulders?
I got a trillion gut bugs on this shoulder and a trillion gut bugs. I'm weighed down by my gut bugs. What do I do?
I think you should talk about gut bugs more. You should say that more. Gut bugs, new band name. I called it.
Oh, that was my nickname in college, though. Here comes gut bugs.
Because old gut bugs.
Good old gut bugs. Yeah. Okay. So you start. Talk about.
Well, I'll tell you this. So there was a recent client we dealt with. Just leave it at that.
Dish.
Yeah, that we should have saw the red line. We should have saw the red flags pretty early on. As we got into it, I realized this is not going to work.
I like how really careful you're being and precise with every single word.
I highly doubt that they're going to listen to this. But yeah, there's so many red flags.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? Who is it? Says ringy dingy dingy. I can't remember now. Is
Andy from The Office?
Is it Andy or is it Michael Scott? This is, I've got it going ringy dingy dingy in my head.
Maybe it's
that should have. There was lots and lots of warning signs that we should have avoided, and I think our team paid for it. I think I paid for it. I think there was a lot of just the communication was just so bad.
Yeah. Well, let's just go through it. Like, what are some warning signs that you see that you could maybe not? So the whole point of today's topic is your gut. So trusting your instinct, right? So what are some of those signs that are not necessarily clear, but you could discern them as like a gut feeling, like, ooh, gosh, I had a bad feeling about that. I probably should have listened to my trillions of gut bugs.
Gut bugs. Yeah. I think that you can. Okay. So one of the biggest things is most people say, I don't know how to read people. That's not true. You can tell when something's sketchy or something doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like as you're having the conversation, you're like, ooh. Or if there's a sense of hesitation.
Yeah.
That's okay. You need to slow down. Mm-hmm. Don't make a rash decision. Actually sit and process what you're going to actually do in this situation. Because I think we've gotten ourselves into situations before where we realized after the fact, oh man, and maybe this is a good thing right here because often we get into it. Like we don't listen to it. We just go for it and then we regret it later. Yeah. But I think you're good at recognizing people. If you ever feel a sense of hesitation or if you feel a sense of uneasiness, check to see if it's excitement or if it's legitimate of, okay, why do I feel this way about this person? Why do I feel about this way about this deal that's coming down? Why do I feel like this is not going to go the way I want it to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it comes down to reading people. When it comes to your any kind of products or any services that you have, that you're like, I think with marketing and any kind of service that you have,
Yeah.
I think there's this, especially for me, I get super excited. And I think you told me one time, you're like, if it doesn't work right away, you want to scrap it. Or I get down in the dumps because I'm like, gosh, I really thought that was going to work. I really thought that was going to take off like that.
Yeah. Let's speak to that. Because that it's, you do that, but also that a lot of people do that. And I think it's really important for people to have someone to talk to often, especially if you're a solopreneur. And so you're just out there hustling by yourself. I think it's really important to, when you feel a little discouraged, that you open up your mouth and you talk to somebody, that you have someone to discuss business stuff with, or plans or ideas or something like that. Because because when something doesn't work immediately, you tend to be like, man, shoot, it didn't work. I'm like, well, let's give it more than a couple hours, and let's try it again. Because success is not often seen immediately, not right out of the gate. I mean, that's like true. The rare few are happening instantly. So I think that it's really important, and I think that a lot of our audiences will agree with this, that you got to hustle for a while. How many years did we hustle on the side before we took it full time?
I'm not counting the 8th year as that hustle because we walked into it in the 8th year, but I would say
it was a long time.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this before, that like, we had a long-term desire and a long-term goal to launch this, but I certainly had gut feelings over the years that was like, oh gosh, I don't know if this is I don't know how much longer I can do this. I just don't know if it's going to make it. But you know what? That's one of the times where you don't listen to your gut, because that's just doubt, and doubt hangs around, and it's always potentially going to be there. So
that's another topic for another time. Like just the self-doubt that comes in with entrepreneurship. I mean, there's often times where you sit back and go, well, you get to this comparison trap. But I think that would be a good thing for another episode.
For sure. But that is, I think it's a case of applicable now. So like when you're listening to your gut, or when your gut tells you, I just don't know if this is it, maybe it's time to just, that's one of the instances that you don't listen. So to your point earlier, there's times when you should listen to your gut, but I think there's also times when you should maybe try and stick it out a little bit further just to see what happens.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because I think that if you have some things in place, I think one of the things you mentioned was a really good point of talking to somebody about it that you trust. Me and you're in a unique situation where we're in it together. There's so many people out there that have their own business it's them. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think having a soundboard to talk to somebody with, and just being like, okay, here's the situation. Because there's been oftentimes me and Jason will get off a client video call, and we'll immediately hop on our Slack video call.
Yeah.
And we'll say, that did not go well. Or, I don't know, man, this is a weird one.
Yeah.
We had another client too that we were going through a buyer persona process with them. Turns out it was not going to be a good fit. Just it wasn't going to work. And we stopped there. We had plans to do other things with them, but it just wasn't going to be a good fit. Just the dynamic wasn't good, and you could feel it. You could tell.
Yeah.
And me and Jason tried so hard to make it be a good fit, but then it was just like, this isn't going to work. I don't think this
Yeah.
is going to be a good fit. And I think that sometimes, to push back on your thing of, we could have easily just kept forcing it and say, well, we could, let's just get the money and just keep going. But oftentimes that's not the best route to go down. Just to keep pushing a little further. But I think the way that you can think through that is to your point, have a conversation with somebody you trust, whether it's your business partner, whether it's a spouse or whoever that you trust, and saying, here's the situation I'm in. Here's the situation that's come up. What should I do? Yeah. Well, and hopefully that person kind of helps you navigate through the steps of what you need to do.
That's kind of a dream I have, as we build a Hustle Machine brand, as we inevitably, that's a word.
Inevitably. You can do it. I believe in you. Keep trying.
Yeah, that's okay. Follow your gut. That's exactly what I want. As we inevitably build a community around entrepreneurship, one of my goals, one of my dreams I have is that we can have like partners, like partners throughout the community. So as people listen to the show, and as people join and have discussions around and within our community, that we could have like peer groups. I would love that, where you can talk to other hustlers and entrepreneurs in your field, in your industry, in your area, and maybe eventually do meetups and stuff like that. I think I just think it's really important to talk to somebody else, to talk through thoughts that you have, because
especially knows what you're going through. Especially somebody is in a similar boat. It may not be entrepreneurship, but it may be something else that they can connect and relate with. Yeah.
Right. Because I think that there's a lot of entrepreneurs and freelancers out there who are solo, and it's probably something that if they continue that business, that they would probably be solo for the foreseeable future, because that just might be what they're doing. Right. Maybe they're a photographer and they just want to do enough business to keep them busy, and they don't need a second on shoots, or maybe they do have a second from time to time that they contract with, but that's it, and that's all they want to do. They want to stay busy, but they don't want to, actually build a team. Right.
Sure.
And so it might be difficult as you're thinking through decisions, if you don't have anybody to talk to, if you don't have a sounding board who's also in the entrepreneur space. It's great to have somebody to talk to, just to speak with, but I think it's also really important to talk to other entrepreneurs who might have some insight to provide into your specific area, or just in general. So that's a goal. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down on my vision board. Not really. I'm just going to write it down my notebook, but that's something that I would like to see us launch, within a couple of months. I would love to start seeing that grow within our community, is like, peer groups.
I think that's exactly what you need in situations where you have this gut feeling, either good or bad. It's gut bugs. The gut feeling of what should you do in a particular situation, and having somebody to talk it out. And I think it's a good idea. Like, I agree. That's one of the reasons we created Hustle Machine. And actually, we had a conversation with, we made a connection through, we were doing like some sort of training for not a product, but I don't want to say the name of it, but we connected with somebody recently, or this year at least. And we had like 2 conversations with her. She had just quit her job. She was walking into something full-time. Her own thing full time.
We were doing that webinar.
Yes, we were in a webinar, but it was a very small, very specific webinar.
It was us and like 2 other people.
Yeah, and we ended up connecting with this lady, and we had some really good conversations with her around exactly what we're doing here with Hustle Machine. She walked away from feeling very encouraged. We've kind of lost touch since then, but I should reach out to her. but having that community to get back there and support each other and know exactly what we're going through, I think having some people like that in your life is going to help you navigate those gut feelings, know whether you're being sane or you're being crazy. Whether it's a good thing to be feeling or not.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's really hard because you can't definitively say like, yeah, go with your gut, trust your gut. Because my gut's been wrong a lot. When you think you've made a good connection, or you think you know somebody, or you have a quote, I've got a good feeling about this. Is that your intuition, or is that
excitement?
Is that hope taking over? Excitement? Is that overshadowing that feeling? It would be awesome if I could just have a readout of what it actually is. Like, oh, I'm at 56% hope and I'm at 7% intuition right now. Maybe I should go the other way.
I feel like I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. But I do feel like I do feel like I have a good balance where I do get excited about hopeful and but I do feel like I am a type of person who makes a decision a little bit slower because I want to think it through. Oftentimes I don't just jump right into to make a decision. I just do it. That's very rare for me. Most of the time, because not that I want to overanalyze it to the point where I freeze and don't make a decision, but it's more of I want to analyze the situation before I make the final decision to move forward on something. I feel like I'm fairly good at that, and I feel like I'm fairly good at reading people. But sometimes I end up, to your point, Jason, sometimes I go into it and I'm like, I feel really good about it. And then it just doesn't work out. And you can't get down about that. It's just more of like, what lesson did I learn? How can I apply it to the next thing and move on?
I feel like it's funny. And I think that's why this relationship works, and why, again, I'll say that I think that people need to find somebody else, because it's almost like trust your gut and then have somebody to help keep your gut in check. Because I think that's one of the reasons our relationship works well, is because you tend to be a little bit more hopeful about situations, and I tend to be a little bit more skeptical about situations. So I'm just like, and you're like, yeah, I think it'll work. And so once by those powers combined, we usually find middle ground, and we kind of work our way through a situation together. But
and there are times where we both feel bad about it, or like just like an uneasiness, and we don't go forward, because then it's like, if
we're out,
if both of us are that way, no. But if one of us is more hopeful than the other, it's like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. Let's just see how it goes. If it's disastrous, then we have an exit strategy and we know what to do.
We're like, peace, we're gone. See ya. Bye.
But I hope that you guys found this helpful. I know that gut feelings and your intuition, those gut bugs get to you. But I think the real main takeaway for you is if you need support around you, and we hope that Hustle Machine is that, and hopefully pretty soon you'll see some things coming around about the community we're going to try to build through Hustle Machine. We got to come up with a name for them, though. I think we got to come up with something. And don't say any names. Just leave it. But
what do you mean?
I had a bad feeling about it. But
your
anyways,
gut should shut up.
You mean just talk to my gut right now? And just shut up.
Talk to your gut. Your gut's being mean to me right now.
Whatever. Shut up. Anyways, guys, follow us on all the things, listen to all the things, and we'll have a conversation with you guys next time. So
see you guys. Bye.
Later.